Last week, the New Directions decided to explore funk, and we were suitably unimpressed. Will sang a song to Sue, and we all died, and they sang Good Vibrations, and it was kind of fun. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Nice.
Gleeboot. Tonight, we are discussing the finale of the first season, yeah?
Yeah, season 1 finale, Journey to Regionals. Welcome to Gleeboot, baby. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Hey!
Journey to regionals. Wow.
Oh my
so
lord.
A title that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
Shit, I'm Hannah. Have we done this the past couple episodes?
No, we haven't. So
I don't even know our
welcome
names.
back, everyone. If you forgot our names, we are repeating them for you.
Yeah. I've been editing earlier episodes and we used to do that. So now it's like in my brain is something to do.
Yeah, yep. Well, celebrating the finale, I have made cocktails for Cullen and I. I've made pomegranate martinis.
Oh.
Very, very tart. Super good. I love it. I don't know what Cullen thinks because he hasn't tried it.
Cheers to regionals.
Cheers.
So for our listeners, Hannah hasn't been excluded purposely. She just lives in a different state.
I cannot make Hannah a cocktail. It is impossible.
I mean, like, I guess you could send me the fixins and then I would have to make it myself.
That's true. I could send you the recipe next time.
It's called Hello Drunk. It's the opposite of Hello Fresh. Where instead of ingredients.
You have to cut this out of the episode. It's too good of an idea.
our new cocktail. That's actually like a interesting business model, like sending people cocktail ingredients.
You literally have to cut this out of the episode. We're doing it.
I don't know, guys. There's a lot of laws about how you can transfer alcohol.
True.
So
we can transcend them.
Rise above.
We're drinking doubles, by the way. Double martinis. You never said what you liked, or if you didn't like it.
I liked it a lot, actually.
Oh, okay.
Liked? Did you drink it already?
No, I just had sip number La Dose.
La Dose? Okay.
Yeah.
That feels like
It's
two
a
different
little
languages.
Franglish.
Okay.
The worst language.
I am drinking water out of a rum tumbler. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got it at this rum distillery here in Tampa. And I'm thirsty, so I decided to drink water. Plus, there's no alcohol in my house because I haven't gone shopping. If I had Hello Drunk, the alcohol would be delivered to me.
Okay, should I give everyone the recipe to this cocktail?
I think that'd be a great idea. Honestly, like,
Yeah, why not?
Put it on Soch. We can put it on the Somi.
Okay, so this pomegranate martini is I'm just saying the normal recipe. I'm not saying how to make it a double, okay? 1 ounce of vodka, 3/4 ounce of triple sec, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, and 3/4 ounce of pomegranate juice. Mm-hmm. And you shake it all up in a shaker with ice, and then pour it out without the ice. So that's it. That's how you make it. Oh, shout out. I got this recipe from my dad who makes this for my mom because it's her favorite drink.
Oh, this is Beth's favorite drink.
Yes.
Beth. Oh my god. Wow. That was a great connection.
Great connection. I was going to go with, this is your mom's favorite drink. This is one of my favorite episodes of Glee.
Oh.
It is. I've been excited for this episode since we started the podcast. It's a journey.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I was also really excited to watch it. I remembered lots of good things about it. Yeah.
So.
And this was my first time watching it. As everyone knows, I am to the point in Glee where I haven't watched it.
So this episode, I'm going to go basically chronologically because instead of 25 different storylines, there's mainly just like a main storyline with a couple like wrap-ups of others.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Go in chronological.
Chronological. We're
I think the
going
last
on a
time we
journey.
did chronological, it took us 6 hours to do the episode.
William fucking Schuster. He just found out Sue Sylvester is a judge at regionals.
Oh my god. Drama.
Yeah.
And he is begging our favorite principal Figgy Fig, about like, you can't allow this to happen. And he's like, I don't have control over this. It's out of my hands.
Yeah, no, Figgins proves to be like world's best principal yet again by allowing this to happen.
To be fair, he probably doesn't have any control over it. What's he gonna do? Fire her? He should have fired her a long time ago.
Just feels like he would like file some sort of like thing of bias, being like, obviously we can't have this teacher who's actively rooting against these students.
Well, I mean, he could
school.
actually like be like, hey, you have to turn this down or you're fired.
Yeah.
But we all know he's not going to do that.
He has not had the adequate training to think like that. That's neither here nor there.
Cutthroat. Be a cutthroat boss and, fire your employees. Not a lot of people get that training.
Yeah. He's the worst because he just once again allows Sue to kind of railroad him. Speaking of which, we get a flashback.
Whoa. Wait, what? You said railroading and then you're like, flashback?
What?
Are we flashbacking
what
to
are you talking
Puck
about?
and
to Puck and Quinn, where Puck is railroading her like desire to not have sex with him.
Yes, okay. I took that totally wrong as like a sexual term. Yikes. That's why I was stunned by that transition.
It worked on multiple levels.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Maybe I should put vodka in this glass.
Maybe. Gleeboot, baby. So we get a flashback to Quinn's house and like the picture of Jesus watching Puck try and like give her wine coolers, and because she's like, I'm leader of the celibacy club, I took a vow. He's all like, Brittany and Santana did, and I did them. And like, she's like, what about Finn? He's your best friend. And she's like, we won't care about him in like 3 years. And she's like, do you have protection? And he's like, oh, trust me.
Yeah, so many layers of gross.
I'm grimacing. Everyone who can't see my face. It is reflecting the level of grossness that I saw in that scene.
It's gross. He's getting her drunk, and she's like, tell me again that I'm not fat. And he's like, you're not fat.
Yeah, it's like laid up as like a joke. And he's literally like manipulating her. It's... Ugh.
Yeah, it's real gross, and we cut to Finn thinking about it in Will's kitchen, which every time this scene happens, I'm always like, what is Quinn doing here? She's not safe.
I thought that too. Like, I'm literally like, I really wish that they didn't have that, like, shot where you can't see anyone else in the house, because it kind of feels like
weird.
she's like his ward or something, and she's like waiting to be rescued. It's scary.
I had no idea why she was there.
Me either. I totally
Absolutely
forgot.
None.
I literally was like, why is she here? And then the other kids were there. I was like, oh, thank God. But
yeah, it suddenly went from what is happening to, oh, okay, I feel a little bit better.
It's like, why does he have all these children in his house? And they're all sad? Yeah. What did he do to them?
He gave them Glee Club. They're all sad because they know that they need to place in regionals in order to continue as a club. And with Sue as a judge, they won't place because she'll vote against them. So like, Artie's upset, Tina's crying, Rachel's crying, and Rachel's like, "Can we just go around the room and talk about what we loved about Glee?"
Oh my god. Leah Michelle doing the Lord's work with that crying. She's just so good at crying. It's like her squint singing, but she's actually crying, and it's beautiful. I love it in all forms. When she moves her eyebrows down, oh, I love it in all forms.
Yeah, she's pretty upset. And so the team, they're supposed to nominate songs for regionals. Presumably one of the bajillion songs they've done this year, and instead they're just crying, and
it's because they didn't want to go back through their own discography.
Well, I mean, honestly, any other actual real life Glee group would have been practicing their songs for regionals the entire year, not just the week before. So none of this makes sense, but it's fine.
I would almost love it if that's how Glee clubs actually worked, where like you only had a week to practice like your performance, so it was all like a raw thing.
You mean
so
like
the audience would be subjected to some terrible performance.
That
you could get it down in a week.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure.
What are we talking about? I don't think so.
Children wouldn't be able to. Well, some children maybe. But yeah, no, like it's like a reality TV show, like some like that record live. Like you really only have like a week to prepare all your material once you get the assignment. So like it could work like that. But yeah, like they've done like 1,000 songs, and like I've said multiple times, we've already discussed, like, why aren't they logically they would be practicing the same 3 songs for the whole semester. Could you imagine if that was the show? Watching them go over bar after bar, and oh god.
Yeah, that would be less fun.
Slightly less fun. Yeah, you would see all their warm-ups.
La 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 la. Da da.
Amazing.
So yeah, they're all in Will's house and they just fall apart in tears. There's a breakdown. And so he just doesn't know what to do, so he goes to Emma, and Emma's like, "I don't know what you want from me, Will."
She also hasn't been in an episode for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
What has she been
doing? We haven't
doing?
seen her in a while.
She's been going to the dentist and dating him.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Because we find out that
getting drilled.
She is dating her dentist.
She's dating her dentist, and Will has the audacity to then ask if they've had sex, like, right away.
Lost my mind. I was like, okay, one, how dare he even think he has the right to even have that instinct to ask her? And then she goes and fucking answers him. I was like,
I was pissed.
You don't know him. You don't know
nothing.
Him. Like, that's clearly, like,
it is none of his business.
Yeah, like, both of them are, like, it's almost like they're both hoping that, like, Will is the one to like, be her first. They're both, like, holding on to that in a weird way, and I did not care for it. I rejected it.
Yeah. I do like her standing up for herself in a small way by being like, I care about these kids, but I'm not here to be your emotional support human. But it's also supposed to create, like, Will's lowest point, because then he's driving in his car with his muffler scraping the ground, and Journey plays on the radio, and he cries, and he comes up with an idea. We also get a scene with Finchel. Finn's like, "Rachel, I need to talk to you." And he has this line where he's like, basically like, "We almost had it. We could have held it together if you hadn't fallen apart. You're our leader. We look to you." And then Rachel just kisses him.
I was flabbergasted.
Oh.
Flabbergasted.
Well, is that
Her
good or bad?
flabber was gasted.
Okay, so, I mean, did you... Okay, collect your flabber now and tell us. Was it good gassed or bad gassed?
No, it was bad.
Okay.
Why did she kiss him?
She didn't even say anything. She just smacked her face
didn't.
right into his, and I'm
That
like,
was
what's
like
going
her
on?
response. Her response to him being like, "You are a strong woman, we need you," was to smash her lips against his.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute.
No, it was bad. It was awful. I hated it.
I was like, because he's all like, "You're our leader, be confident," and she's like, I'm gonna be confident and take what I want, and she kisses him, and he's into it, and it's cute.
Oh, is that
I don't
what
think
that
he's
was
into
about?
it.
I don't...
Well, I mean, he's a
know.
guy, so maybe he's into it.
He sang Jesse's Girl about wanting to be with her.
Yeah, okay, but then she was with Jesse the entire time. This is the first time that Finn is like being emotionally open with Rachel and like presenting the fact that he thinks that she's a strong person. And her response just, I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, that would never, ever, ever, ever happen in the middle of a school hallway.
So, okay, my big thing is they're planting all of these, like, lead-up things for the big wrap-ups that they have. But I don't even remember the, like Allyssa said, sort of, like, I don't remember the last time Finn and Rachel had, like, a conversation that meant something. Like, I totally even, like, forgot they were actually even a thing or possibly a thing until this happened. And I'm like, okay, I don't really care about this. I don't even remember them talking, like, the last episode. So, yeah, I just, like... I didn't really feel much about it, except that I was like, I'm confused. Am I still supposed to care about this?
I was very weirded out. See, I thought it was super cute that Finn was going to her and, like, telling her that she was the leader. But then when she kissed him, I was taken out of the scene. Like, it didn't make any sense.
If we go into, like, the next scene where they go in the classroom, she's, like, gonna say something. Like, I kind of would have rather her been like, okay, yeah, like, let's do something, and then have them not kiss. Like, literally, she could have just said that.
It would have been like if she... Okay, so Finn says, okay, you're our leader, you really kind of messed up, we need you. And then she can be like, you're right, this is who I am, I'm sorry, I kind of dropped the ball. And then as she's walking away, not a kiss, but just, like, take his hand and squeeze it. Much more subtle, but then you know that you understand something's going on.
I'm gonna argue that this kiss needs to happen.
No!
It technically does need to happen. Because they don't kiss later in the episode.
I think we could have a blend of the two.
Well, can we have it happen later in the episode when it actually makes sense?
Yes, that would have made more sense if after... Okay, we'll get there. But yes, I actually really like your idea, Allyssa, where, like, if she's like, okay, like, let's go and plan this, and, like, she grabs his hand, and, like, it's intimate, and it's cute, but it also has, like, action that makes sense to me. I don't know.
I think she should say something before she kisses him, but I just like the spontaneity of it all.
No, I disagree.
So
I disagree. Oh, we can't be roommates anymore.
A house divided by the facial kiss.
Honestly, if that's, like, the most, like, intense this conversation's gonna get, like, that's what's gonna cause it, like, what even else happens? I don't even remember now. Like, we've talked about this so much that
we should move on. We should move on.
There's more to the episode. I didn't even know.
So they walk in and they're like, we have something we wanted to say. and Rachel and Finn walk in to the Glee Club rehearsal, and they're like, we have something that we wanted to say. And Will's like, first, I want to talk. And he's like, he uses advice that Emma gave him when Emma's like, remember when you were going to leave to be an accountant? And I showed you the video of you singing and how happy you were. And you just need to show the kids that it's not about winning, it's about performing. And that's what Will brings into the choir room. And he's like, we all need to show our passion for performing, and you've worked too hard to give up. And I think we should, you guys won me over with a cover of Don't Stop Believing. We're going to do Journey songs. And then he's like, Rachel, what do you have to say? And she's like, we're just glad you didn't become an accountant.
Can I say something controversial, perhaps? I don't remember that he was going to leave to become an accountant. I have completely wiped whatever that storyline was from my memory. So
I don't remember it either, so we're in the same boat.
I was like having an Alyssa moment. I was like, I don't remember this. And then I was like, oh, maybe it was like an off-screen thing. And then they kept mentioning it. I was like, oh, this was a thing we saw? Oops.
It was in the pilot, but that percentage of the pilot was cut down. There are extra scenes.
Wait, it was in the pilot?
Yes.
Oh God, that was so long ago.
Glee has this.
Remember that?
Glee has this thing where the finales are endings to the storyline the pilot was telling.
Yes.
But what happened in the middle was an entirely different show.
Well, yeah, because he also.
Okay.
So his line in the choir room is like, I was gonna quit once. And I was like, bitch, you tried to quit like 7 times. What are you talking about? Once.
Acapellas.
Right, like Acapellas was like episode 3 or 2.
Can I just say that I am disappointed he did not become an accountant.
Please explain.
Because then he'd be far from children.
Do I need to explain?
Then the show would be happening.
He wouldn't be in the show anymore.
But he is a vital part of Glee Club. Of Glee, because his storyline was the most important thing, apparently, from pilot to now.
Of course.
Which very much I was reminded of in this episode, as if I hadn't been previously, and it made me nauseous.
I can't wait till season 2 where Will almost retires as a person and becomes much more of a secondary character.
Please, yes, please. I'm ready for that. Also, I do want to mention this is a very strong martini.
Okay. Thank you for mentioning.
You are very welcome.
This is a great episode so far.
Of Gleeboot and of Glee.
Of Gleeboot.
I just unironically love Glee. I'm just gonna be honest about it. Even though it's a mess, I love it.
See? It's a strong cocktail.
It's making Cullen say crazy things. I genuinely love that you love the show because, like,
someone has
to. And, like, I think it balances us out because, like, I shit on this show so much, but there are a lot of things I do genuinely enjoy about it.
It's a fun show. You know, like, I never am upset watching it. Maybe because, okay.
It's like, define upset.
Yeah.
I'm upset when I see specific scenes and, like, the choices they make, but I like watching it because it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So they go to regionals. There's 3 teams performing. The New Directions.
Yep, New Directions.
The NDs.
The NDs. Vocal Adrenaline. And Oral Intensity.
Well, did we also announce the hosts?
The judges are Olivia Newton-John, Josh Groban.
Yes.
Rod Remington and Sue Sylvester.
Who's what was her? It was her biography or autobiography. I'm a winner and you're fat. I laughed out loud when I heard that. That was just like one of those like fun Sue things that I just forgot about.
She also had a line because I was like, "Oh, that joke is just so like 2010," and she had this line about she hating Will's hair, and she's like, I half expect racist Disney characters to hop out of your hair and sing songs about living on the bayou.
I know. That's literally the first thing I have written on my notes. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Well, I asked Cullen as we were watching this episode, when was this? Was this before or after Princess and the Frog? Because I had no idea. I have no concept of timelines. I recognize that was, like poking Princess and the Frog, but I just had to make sure. You never know. It could have been some sort of Nostradamus thing,
Nostradamus? What?
A prophecy?
A prophecy. Oh, that it foretold Princess and the Frog.
Yes, exactly.
Helen, you were so upset that she said Nostradamus. You're like, what?
I can't wait till Gleeboot where Nostradamus joins the Glee Club.
Spoilers, Cullen!
Come on. Everyone's heard of Nostradamus, right?
Yeah, anyone who saw the History Channel, whenever they'd be like, Nostradamus prophesied Lindsay Lohan, or whatever, like, weird thing they'd try and say he prophesied, or like 9/11 or something.
I don't actually know what he prophesied. I just know he was, spewing prophecies.
Nostradamus stars on one of my favorite teen dramas, the CW's Reign, about Mary Queen of Scots and all her hijinks in France and Scotland, and Nostradamus is like in it. And it's great. Watch Reign, guys. It's one of my top 3 favorite shows of all time.
Or watch Glee. Or both.
Watch Reign and Glee, because they're 2 of my top teen dramas. I can't wait till Mary Queen of Scots joins the Glee Club.
Spoilers!
Her song about Protestants taking over Scotland is a bop.
Is it an original, or what song is she singing?
She's singing Viva La Vida. And she's played by Saoirse Ronan. Like in the movie.
I'm obsessed. Okay, so oral intensity. I wanted to scream when I heard that, and I literally wrote it as ORAL. And then when it cuts to them voting, and then I see it says AURAL, I was like, oral. Like audio. And I was really upset at myself, so I thought I would share that.
Good.
So we get to regionals, and oral intensity does a mashup of You Raise Me Up by Joshua Groban and Joshua Felix Groban.
I'm sorry, is that really his middle name?
No, I just made it up. He seems like
Oh my god.
he seems like he'd be a Felix.
I really wish that you had prepared his actual middle name.
I want to know
I love
now.
this anyway.
And Olivia Newton-John's Believe We Are Magic. And like the Glee Club is upset. They're like, oh no. They're like appealing straight to them. They must have got tipped off on who the judges were. And Rachel is trying to turn it off, and she's like, no guys, we got this. Like, don't listen to it. And then she can't reach.
Because she's so short.
You guys, I just looked up his middle name. You're never gonna guess it.
What is it, Felix?
No. It's Joshua Winslow Groban.
Gross.
Felix is way better. He will now be called Joshua Felix Groban.
I should have named him
I don't know. I kind of like Winslow, but I like odd names.
Winslow wears a hat and says "Milady," and is a brony.
This
I'm
is terrific.
offended.
Alyssa has the most offended face.
Why?
I don't know.
What? You don't know why you're offended?
The most millennial experience ever.
Wow, so true. I just had this like gross feeling and this look on my face that I'm offended, but I don't know why. It could be everything. That's
You can't just make
amazing.
fun of names. It's not fair.
I think the Winslows of the world will be okay.
They're gonna be on my side, not your side.
Sure.
We have sides
All right,
now.
all the
We have
Winslows out there listening, please at us. We are at Gleeboot Pod. We want to hear from you. How much do you
Let us
love your
know.
name? How often do you say "milady"?
Do you watch My Little Pony, and how do you feel about the Finchel kiss?
To be fair, My Little Pony is a great show.
It's a quality
Okay.
children's show.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Anyways.
This is why we don't go chronological.
It's time for the NDs to perform.
Okay, real quick.
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's talk hair and dresses. What do we feel
Oh, the
about
bump
hair?
its?
The bump it.
The bump
This
its?
is like very
Mm.
snooky. I hate the hair. I hate everything above the neck. Below the neck, I'm about it.
You know, I kind of. The dresses I don't hate, but there are materials that I think could have worked better.
Oh, interesting. So we're getting down to
You
the
know-
nitty gritty. All right.
Nitty gritty, yeah. You know, I personally, when I'm watching dancing and stuff, like the flowy material. I'm not all about the dresses that they were wearing, which is like kind of a more stiff sort of what is that? Satin, probably polyester sort of thing.
Yeah,
A
no,
satin
you're right.
poly blend.
It was
Yeah.
definitely pretty. Yeah, it really wasn't
Stiff.
moving.
No.
Huh.
There are better ways to show off your body.
There you have it, folks. There are better ways to show up your body than a possibly satin polyester blend dress.
Okay, but I'm not saying that in a sexual way. I'm just
Yeah.
stating that dancing is all about movement of the body, and if you want to showcase dancing, you have to showcase your body.
Body language.
That's
Ha.
my line. How dare you?
So the hair is the Snooky Bumpets are a choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they start their performance with with a cover of Journey's
Whoa,
Faithfully.
whoa. We gotta go.
I'm gonna talk about the big thing,
Okay.
What?
the big
Okay.
L word.
Yeah. Okay. Well, not lesbians.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what?
Well,
That's later in Glee.
yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. Lesbians. Anyway. Okay.
Finn beforehand, like him and Rachel are talking about if they're nervous, and right before they perform, he says, "I love you."
Which is when they should have kissed, right, Alyssa?
I think it should have been after the performance.
Okay.
I
can
like
get
the
behind
I
that.
love you there. I think the kiss should have been after the performance.
When Rachel and Finn kiss in regards to performances becomes a big part of the show story. Later on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Let's talk about these new directions and their
They-
stiff dresses. Nailed it.
So good.
They sing faithfully. Rachel and Finn sing as they walk down through the audience.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the New Directions is doing the whoa, oh. I'm a great singer.
The background vocals.
Yeah.
And the curtain opens, and I legit had chills. Like, this whole sequence of them performing, loved it. Absolutely
was-
loved it.
Very good. And, so did the rest of the audience. The audience was very into it.
The audience was loving nude erections.
This is one of the few cases where the audience, like, being so into it sort of makes sense, because people lose their shit over Journey.
Journey's
True.
good. Journey is good music.
I feel like
Let's
we've already
be
had
real.
this conversation and it was an argument.
Yes,
In the
because
same household. A house divided. Are you
A
guys
house-
okay?
I love Journey, and I think Glee's covers of Journey songs are slightly better than the Journey songs
That's
because they're theatrical.
who's theatrical.
The Glee covers.
Okay, so your argument is that the live performances from Glee are better than the live performances from Journey.
No, I'm talking about the tracks, like the iTunes tracks.
Okay, so how can a track be theatrical?
The way that the song ends, the way that the song builds up, like the way the song is orchestrated.
Okay, you can feel that way.
Because they...
You have
my-
permission.
You're allowed your feelings.
my case in point is the next song that they're doing, a medley of Any Way You Want It / Love,
Any way you want it.
Mashup.
along with Loving, Touching, Squeezing.
Yeah.
And Any Way You Want It is a song I'd always hear on the radio and be like, I kind of like this, but it's missing something. And then the Glee version, I hear it, and it has everything I need, and it is a bop.
I will.
So you like the mashup better?
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree. Like Love and Touch and Squeezin' on its own is really good. Any Way You Want It is really repetitive.
That's the way you need it.
Yes, it's really repetitive, like the whole Journey track. It just keeps going, and then they finally get to the end time that they say it. So
Any way you want it. Ba, 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 ba.
that is a very strong cocktail. But yeah,
I
like
told you.
he's having doubles. But yeah, so like I think I agree with Cullen. Like something has to happen with Any Way You Want It, and Love and Touch and Squeezin' just comes together, and it's so good. Like I could listen to that and have listened to that like 1,000 times on repeat because it's so good.
I'm not mad. I really like their rendition of this entire performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so energetic, and they're moving around. They have a lot of kinetic energy. They have a lot of musical energy.
Yeah, Quinn is really getting it.
She is
moving around a lot.
She is ready for that baby to be out of her body.
Yeah, she's like squatting on stage. She's like ready for it to happen. She didn't actually squat on stage.
She did not, yeah. And they start singing the Glee Club classic, Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop
I knew it.
believing.
I knew that was going to happen.
Sorry.
I know
sorry.
Nostradamus
Okay,
it.
we're moving on.
Nostradamus that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's a great cover. I love the Glee cover. I love it
I
even
do
more
a
with more
solo
people.
in it. I sound so good. Santana,
Santana
Hannah, obviously it's me. She does so good. I love every time she sings.
Yeah, it's just like everyone works together and sings really well. Judy Fabray, who cures her own meats, is there sneaking in to watch the performance.
I don't know why it just now hit me that you introduced her that way. Who cures
'Cause
her own meats.
They mentioned that in a ballad.
If you don't know who we're talking about, this is Quinn's mother.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't know
not
her
just
name
another-
was Judy.
Yeah, not just another woman with the same last name as Quinn. It is her
Okay,
mother.
but who's gonna remember Quinn's last name?
Me.
A lot
Yes,
of
Cullen.
people
Not anyone
who-
else.
who watch Glee.
Just
Quinn
Cullen.
Fabray.
Quinn Fabray. Fabrethy Fabray.
Fabray. So, okay, real quick, there's like a moment where, like, in the middle of their performance, they cut to Shu and he's like dancing with the beat, and I wanted to die. I hated that.
I just want to say it was...
I wanted to focus just on the kids. Like, I wanted to forget that Shu was even involved in this.
That moment, if Shu was any other character, I actually would have really liked it.
Exactly.
Like, if this was a character I didn't hate, and, like, show, like, a teacher character who was, like, a great mentor, who was just enjoying his students' success, and, like, jamming along, I actually really liked it. But, like, I was like, oh, but it's Shu, so it's...
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it was a good moment for the person who, like, guides Glee.
Yes.
If he was actually good at that job, it would have been great.
Well, I mean, a lot of people at the end of the episode seem to think he's good. And,
but can I also mention that while we were watching this whole thing, I had no idea who Quinn Fabre's mother was. Like, we were watching this person in the audience, and I didn't know who she was.
Oh, interesting.
It's been a minute since we've seen her.
Yeah, it's been a long minute, and I had no clue.
Did you watch the recap beforehand?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because they had her in it, which was like Glee's version of being like, hey, remember we did this storyline? And we're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that person who remembers.
What?
Excuse me. I don't need your sarcasm. Yeah, so I didn't know who she was. I'm trying to think back, like, I had a hypothesis of who she was as I was watching, and it turned out to be not.
Oh my god,
correct.
Who do you think she was?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I just... I know.
I remember. Cool.
I don't remember who I thought she was.
I was hoping you were going to say that she was just like some random lady who was obsessed with Quinn or something like that.
Well,
she does
it
kind of
didn't
come
really
off that
make
way.
sense to me because I feel like did the cameras switch between, like, okay, Quinn, specifically Quinn and her mother, because I might have got it if they did that, like if they did a close-up on Quinn, but they never did. They just did like huge showcasings of the entire cast of Glee. So there was no way for me to actually connect the two in my brain. I would change that in the Gleeboot version because we haven't seen her in a long time.
I mean, I think that's a really good point. Like, my big point throughout this whole episode was there's all these little like wrap-ups, but I don't think we've spent enough time on those storylines to get the impact we really should. Or at least like the improved impact. Like, I think some of them, like that we'll see later with Rachel, it would be way more impactful if a really important character had been closer to her and more involved in the story over the last like 2 episodes rather than like 4 episodes before.
We're all writers, right?
Yeah.
But we understand.
Maybe. Do I still count as a writer?
Come on. Yes, you still count as a writer. You went to school for it. You write on the side.
Thanks.
Right? You're welcome.
To hear that.
You don't actually have to be making money as a writer to count yourself as a writer. True. Even though that's a lot of what people think. I'm here to say that that's not actually true.
You're an actress, even if no one's paying you to act, or an actor. You're a writer, even if no one's paying you to write. Just do your art, man.
Exactly.
Or woman. Or anyone in between.
Unless you're William Schuster, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, unless you're going to be weird to kids while you do it, then please don't.
Anyway, so what I was going to say is we're all writers, but let's be real here. The writer can only do so much. A lot of what we're seeing in Glee is just shoddy camera work. I'm so sorry.
You're coming for the cinematography?
More directing. The director is the one who's going to be like, okay, we need to have a close-up of Quinn, and then we need to have a close-up of her mother. The cinematographer is the one who is like, okay, let's make this close-up look good. But the director is the one who decides where it's going to be.
You're coming for the director.
I am. I didn't get it, you know?
I think we needed a 5-minute interlude where we saw Judy curing her own meats.
Let's get back to Quinn's mom because we have to talk about Kristoff from Frozen. Like, we have to talk about...
Oh,
We have
Lord.
to talk about him.
So
We have to keep our characters straight, guys. Like, I don't have the mental capacity to actually...
Jesse. Talking about our man Jesse.
I know. I'm
Jesse,
just mixing and
James.
matching. I can't do it. I have to keep all of my individual entertainment videos in their own boxes.
I
In
want
your
the
brain.
entire cast of Frozen to
Yes.
be in the Gleeboot. Because we have all the major ones except Josh Gad and Kristen Bell in Glee original.
Oh my god.
All right. So Judy Fabre watches Quinn sing, and afterwards, the kids are all so excited, and they're like, "We're having so much fun," and we're like, "Oh, we have second for sure," and Rachel's like, "Oh no, we have first," and then Quinn's mom is like, "Quinny," and Quinn looks at her, and she's all like, "Hi." I came, she's like, "Mom, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "I came to see you sing. Like, you were amazing. Were there other times? Were there a lot? I'm so sorry I missed the other times." She's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Dad was cheating on me with a tattooed freak. I kicked him out. We can turn the guest room into a nursery. I want you to come and live with me." And it's a little emotional because I just am so happy for Quinn.
I was also very happy for Quinn, but I wish that she kicked her dad out, not for cheating, but for kicking her daughter out. You know?
Valid.
Yeah,
I
Absolutely.
want that to be a thing.
I would do that in the Gleeboot. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kicked him out because he kicked you out.
Well, yeah,
You
it
are
would actually
welcome.
be really interesting if this idea of like her not having been able to see the performances was tied to that. That he would be like, "No, like why would you go see her sing? Like we're not supporting her anymore." Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and then she finally was like, "No, I'm gonna go see my daughter sing. Get the fuck out of my house. Leave my cured meats."
If I was in Quinn's position, I would say, I'm not coming home. I'm staying with Mercedes.
She doesn't really
You fucked
say
me up.
anything, right?
No, she doesn't. She
She's
never
like-
responds.
she's
She
like,
says,
My
water broke.
Yes.
I was like, well,
'Cause she was
girl,
just-
if you hadn't been dancing like that, she would got dangerous up there.
She did a whole pregnant performance last week.
Yes. I mean.
Oh yeah,
I
the
mean-
bellies, the moms.
Yeah, yep.
Oh yeah, it's a man's world.
Then we move on to the hospital because Quinn's having her baby.
So Quinn's having her baby while the next club, Vocal Adrenaline, with Jesse St. James, performs Bohemian Rhapsody.
I want you all to know that I had such a time trying to rein in my instinct to sing along with the entirety of this episode, okay? And I lost that battle when Bohemian Rhapsody came on. I don't know how Cullen felt because he was watching it with me and I was singing along. So, like, I know some people get really upset about that, and I really try not to, but I had such a time. It was rough.
So you
Yeah.
you struggled to not sing along, and then you lost your battle.
I did. With Bohemian Rhapsody.
That was
I
like
lost it.
that was so dramatic. That was such a dramatic rendition of your experience, and I loved it. I was on the edge of my
Rachel and
seat.
we are
I was
spirit
just gonna
animals
say,
to each
you and
other.
Rachel Berry. I think we
Yep.
may have casted right, Cullen.
I think we did.
You give her a double martini, and she is trying to turn into Rachel Berry.
I give myself a double martini, thank you very much.
Something Rachel would say.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I literally wrote, what did I say? Give me J. Groff or give me death. That's how excited I was to see him.
Good.
It's a great performance of Bohemian Rhapsody.
It really is, but I mean, let's be real. The only person who had any of this stage time was
Jesse.
Yeah.
He was the main performer of it all, which is fine, I guess, in the scheme of Glee.
It was him and then a bunch of like 35-year-olds.
Yeah, just like backing him up. I would have been upset if I was part of Vocal Adrenaline. I would have been upset as a backup singer.
Well, that's actually a continued thread throughout the show, is that the NDs, the New Directions, have they tend to be more ensemble based. Like, even if Rachel is kind of their lead, they tend to be very they have a lot of duets. They incorporate a lot of people compared to the other clubs, and part of that is just because they only want to cast one lead character for the other clubs, but it also just the other clubs tend to rely on one central star, while the New Directions are an ensemble or a ragtag bunch of misfits.
Okay, I think I'd keep that in Gleeboot.
Yeah,
it's good. But I might put a little bit more of a spotlight on the issues that it causes
with the other clubs.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
Yeah, that woman would be like, I'm 45 years old. Why am I playing second fiddle?
I'm a 17-year senior.
Yeah. So while they perform Bohemian Rhapsody, we cut to Quinn in the hospital, and she's giving birth with her mom. She has Puck there, and she's like, I want Mercedes there with me, which is so cute. And
that was such a great moment.
It was good, yeah.
That goes back to what was it, last episode where she moved into Mercedes' house, right?
Yes.
That's why I wanted that storyline to have been throughout the whole season, building more and seeing more of them, because they're one of the most interesting pairs, but we don't get to see them a lot. But when we do, it's really great.
That's a really valid point. I think building up to the moment where she wants Mercedes in the room with her while she's having her child, because that's a really intimate moment. It would have made so much sense, to have a relationship that we see.
Yeah, she's technically known Santana and Brittany longer because of Cheerios and all that stuff. So she has more of a history with them, but there's definitely a depth to her relationship with Mercedes. And I just want to see more of that. Spin-off, Quinn and Mercedes show. Done. We're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm behind it.
It's actually, they're two really interesting characters, and it'd be fun to see them interact more. And so she's giving birth and the rest of the club is waiting outside, except for Rachel, who's watching Jesse perform. So as they're singing "Let Me Go," we cut to Quinn singing "Let Me Go" and screaming while giving birth.
This is an interesting choice on the director's part. And I don't know if I agree with it, and I don't know if I like it. That's how I kind of feel about this whole birth sequence between Bohemian Rhapsody and Quinn giving birth. It is very interesting switching between the two. And I don't think I really liked it because giving birth is such an intimate procedure.
I agree. I felt it was very weird that they were doing the cuts. I didn't hate it. I was just okay, I get why you're doing this. But it also kind of fucked up the timeline of the whole sequence. Because
it did. I could understand.
There's because of the way it's being cut, she's saying these things at the exact same time as Jesse sings them, or it coincides and it's coordinated.
Right.
But okay, everyone's at the hospital, there to support Quinn, but Rachel's back at the theater watching them perform. But everyone gets back by the time they give the award. But how is that possible if they were just at the hospital?
I mean, the timeline is very messed up, and it does, it very much varies.
Because would she have a 20-minute birth? There's no way.
It depends. Some people give birth really quick. Sometimes it takes literally days.
Yeah. So
And I am not exaggerating.
I feel like because it was cut together like that, it made a timeline that like probably was much more realistic, like if it was separated. Like if they showed like, oh, like there was an intermission and like it kind of feels weird because like there's only three performances of maybe like 8 minutes apiece, right? There may be intermissions and then they have like the judging. So like the whole thing is probably like an hour and a half thing. So it just, yeah, I just think the cuts were really strange, especially with the timeline. It just kind of didn't make sense.
Not only was it strange because of the timeline, but it's like the writers were saying, oh, giving birth is the same level of intensity and like, emotional stability in your life as winning an award.
No, okay. They were not saying that.
I'm pretty sure that's what they were getting at.
They were because it's
the drama of Bohemian Rhapsody, the song, which I get, but I agree with Alyssa. There's something weird about putting those two things together. I don't know what it is, but it's weird.
If New Directions had sung Bohemian Rhapsody with Quinn's birth, I would have been on board with that.
Yes, because it's kind of, that would be like she's missing it because she's doing this.
Yes.
That makes sense.
But specifically because it was vocal adrenaline? Yeah, okay. Vocal adrenaline singing that. It seemed, I'm not saying this is what they were going for, but it seemed to me like they were comparing the honor of getting an award, the excitement of getting an award with giving birth to a child.
I'm saying, because this is a musical, anything big happens in song. So by making it happen connected to a song, it was giving it the highest honor you can give in like a musical context.
I agree with you. I just think that the connotation of vocal adrenaline singing it during their competition is giving it a weird sort of thing.
I just enjoyed it.
That's valid. You can enjoy whatever you want.
Yeah, like I get that. I get what you're saying.
Like I don't disagree with like having it in song. I think that's a really good idea. I just think that having it happen during the competition with the rival school was a bad choice.
Yeah, I second that.
The next scene has Idina Menzel in it.
Okay, so actually, I was literally sitting there that whole time while regionals was happening, and I was like, why haven't we seen Shelby at all? I know she's here because vocal adrenaline's here. And then she shows up. Well, Rachel shows up to see her. And I'm like, then their scene happens, and I'm like, but we just now are meeting her for the first time in this episode. We saw her like maybe once in the previous episode, and it had nothing to do with Rachel. It was like, I was very meh about this scene.
Rachel comes in and she congratulates Shelby about their vocal adrenaline's performance, but she says, Shelby, but we were better. Like, New Directions was really good. You should come and work at McKinley and coach us with Mr. Shu. There's so much I can learn from you. And Shelby says she's going to quit working at Glee clubs. She wants more balance in her life. And she wants to have a family and a dog and a garden. And this all would make so much more sense if her and Rachel's relationship was something a lot more concrete. But their relationship exists as she reached out to Rachel, and Rachel was like, yeah, sure. And then she was like, never mind, JK.
Yeah, over one episode.
There are a lot of things going on that I think just minimize the decisions that are made between Shelby and Rachel's relationship.
It just feels like the writers, before they got to this episode, had no idea how they were actually going to end these storylines. And so, like, they didn't build up to these endings properly. And so then they just had the endings, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
But the Journey number was amazing.
The Journey rocked.
It really did.
So, speaking of which, we cut to the judges who are determining which team won. Olivia Newton-John. I give mad props to Olivia Newton-John for going on TV and playing herself, but playing herself as like a terrible person.
Okay, I guess you could say the same thing for Josh Groban, who kind of plays like a dumb idiot.
Yeah.
Because he's at like one point he's like, yeah, wait, I'm confused now, and I'm like, oh, okay, Josh Groban. I was stunned by the thing that Rod said about how he knew Freddie Mercury.
They partied hard and in
like,
more
if
than
you
one
know what I
way.
mean or whatever, and I was like,
Oh, Lord.
so Rod is sexually fluid and he swapped sexual fluids with Freddie Mercury. That's what I got from that.
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And the judges think that, like, they're wondering why Sue is there. She's not a real celebrity. And they're like, the Glee Club kids, the New Directions, they're like, that ragtag bunch of misfits thing is so overdone, so cliche, so 2009.
Which is hilarious because that's when Glee started.
And Sue is all like, well, not all kids have the same opportunities. And they're like, is this a poor person's school? Is that what you tell yourself? So they're like, you have a lot in common with the kids from your school because we're all flying back to LA, but you're stuck here living in Ohio. And
okay, I'm confused by this because isn't Rod the local newscaster?
yeah.
Yes, but
Yeah,
he's won local daytime Emmys or something like that. They said like in his intro, and I'm like, so I didn't.
I've won a
understand
local telly. That it's not that big a deal, guys.
Humble brag.
that. Yeah, nice one, Alyssa. Totally drop it in there.
I was hoping that would go under the radar, but
No, you weren't. You were like, oh my god, guys, I have an award. You are qualified to judge Glee clubs now. How does that feel? Upsetting.
Too much responsibility. I can't handle it.
Also, I loved Olivia Newton-John's line about like brunettes have no place in show business. I literally wrote, tell that to Stalker Channing, your Grease co-star.
Because Josh Groban is like, oh, that brunette on New Directions is really good. And Olivia Newton-John is just like, brunettes have no place in show business.
Oh, Lord.
I also laughed out loud very hard when she said that. Also, Olivia Newton-John definitely like gave a good performance. Like, it was like, she was so mean, but she was like so good at it. I kind of loved it.
Yeah, it was a funny scene, and then we cut to them voting, and it's not revealed till later, but I'm gonna go slightly out of chronology, and it's Sue voted for New Directions as number one because she felt as kindred with them when the celebrities were saying, "Oh, like you're just a loser from Ohio," and so she connected with the Glee Club.
So,
yes, and we actually see her voting later on in the episode.
Yeah, but when she comes in, she's like, I don't care who comes in first or second, I want to pick who comes in third, right? Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
So, do we ever find out who she originally wanted to, how she wanted them to rank?
Probably vocal adrenaline first.
Yeah, I was thinking that like she
Originally.
wanted Oral Intensity to be third and like New Direction second, so that like they weren't like completely crushed. Like, this is my theory. I don't know if this is grounded in anything. That like she wanted New Directions to come in second and Vocal Adrenaline first, so that they weren't totally crushed. Because she
Originally,
does have a
before
heart.
this conversation,
Yeah,
I think she wanted New Directions to come in third.
I think she did too.
interesting.
I think she wanted them crushed.
I think my aunt had a different perspective. I think she actually wanted to give them like a glimmer of hope, but didn't want to completely crush them, because she still is an educator. Like, that's the other thing, is that like she's still an educator, and even though like she doesn't frequently admit it in a nice way, she does genuinely care about students, which is, I think, why her voting changed.
She said to the Cheerios, as Brittany and Santana said, "I want to crush Glee Club."
Yes. Yeah. But like, she's a lot, like, we know she's a lot of talk, and then she ends up doing something that is completely not what she said she was going to do, or is slightly
Sue has
different.
a heart, but I don't think she recognizes that she has a heart. So I think originally she wanted to crush them and then decided against it.
I like my headcanon.
All right.
I'm going to go write a Sue fan fiction where she actually wanted them to be second. And then we can read it on the podcast.
So they all come out onto the stage.
Everyone's gay. They all come out. Everyone's gay. I mean, that
Everyone's gay.
happened in Glee. A lot of people come out.
Quinn has her baby.
Yes.
She's a beautiful baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what everybody says, but
Who
that was
pup
not
names?
a newborn baby.
Yeah, but that's a TV thing.
Although I have to say, that was like a very young baby. That wasn't like
It
9 months old that they usually
Definitely
do.
not newborn, but
That was,
young.
like, a couple months out the womb, not like 9. So I think they did good. It was a good casting job. Good job for the casting director to get that baby.
Good for them.
And Sue comes out to announce the winners, and she puts in third place the not at all stupidly named Oral Intensity.
Wait, third place? No.
Or second place.
Yeah, okay.
Second place.
Second place.
And then it's announced that the winners are Vocal Adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who adopts Quinn's baby?
Oh my god!
God!
Who randomly just shows up?
No!
Literally,
You have to use the character name.
I used the name I want.
No!
That's
It's
her
Shelby.
Scientology
Yes.
name.
It's Shelby Corcoran. She shows up at the hospital randomly and is like, "Oh, that one looks like you. What's her name?" And Quinn's like, "She doesn't have a name." And Puck is like, "It's Beth." And Shelby is like, "That's a pretty name." And later on during musical number, they cut to Shelby adopting Beth.
Rachel's biological mother decides to reject Rachel and instead adopt another daughter.
Yep.
Also, director Brad Falchuk, who is one of the creators and writers of the show, not Ryan Murphy.
Oh boy.
I think he's married to Gwyneth Paltrow.
Brad, are you listening to this podcast?
Gwyneth, are you listening?
As we
I
say,
really
his
hope
name.
not, but if you are,
Brad Falchuk, are you listening?
I hope you
Husband
learned.
of Gwyneth Paltrow.
I hope you learned from your mistakes. You probably did.
Yeah,
I mean, this is years later.
The Politician is very well directed.
Probably, yeah. I don't know if I watched that.
You should. It's by the same
No, I
creators
haven't.
as
Yes,
Glee.
okay. We were talking about this a couple episodes back, right? You were talking about Politician.
The Politician,
okay.
yeah. So she adopts Beth because she wants a family. And then we go back to the school, and Emma is yelling at Principal Figgy Fig because she's like, "The kids were too hard for this. How could you let this happen?" And Will's all like, "It's happened. There's nothing I can do about it." But he then as Emma goes to walk away, he grabs her hand and he pulls her in and kisses her.
Don't like that. I don't like how aggressive he is.
Very questionable behavior on his part.
He's like, I love you, you love me, and no dentist is going to change that, or something like that.
I thought you were going to go into the Barney song for a second.
I love you, you love me, we're a happy family.
Actually, if that was in the episode, I'd be like, amazing. Quality entertainment.
Yeah, so he forcefully kisses Emma. And
in the middle of the high school hallway.
Yep.
Yeah.
After we've very conveniently seen all of the children, like, leave the hallway until Rachel comes in. Who, like, doesn't bat a fucking eye.
She's like, oh, the hallway is where I do all my kissing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
True. But also, I feel like she's a drama queen. She would literally, like, gasp and then, like, hide behind the lockers watching and then, like, make her moment and be like, excuse me, because that's Rachel. But no.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm putting together a Tumblr page devoted to Will and Emma.
To Wemma.
To Wemma.
To Wemma with love.
To Wemma with love. So Rachel brings Shu into the auditorium where the kids are preparing to sing To Sir with Love to Will. And one of them, Matt, is like, for this year, I was just another football player. And I'm like,
go in the round. Let's go in
you're
the round.
still another
football player.
Yeah, let's go in the round and talk about some of these people. So Matt, yeah, I literally wrote, and you will continue to be moving on. Tina
just another football player.
Said, I had a stutter. I was like, that you made up so people would think you were weird and didn't want to hang out with you? Okay. Mercedes, like, I used to be a diva. And I was like, is that a bad thing? And then a couple other people talk. And then...
Yeah, Quinn is like, I was captain of the Cheerios.
Yeah, and then Artie says, I had never kissed a girl before. It was like, Artie's legit, like, telling everyone that Glee Club helps him with ladies. I'm like, I cannot right now. And then, I don't remember what Rachel says.
I think she said she had no friends, right?
Something like that.
I don't remember.
I was too distracted by Finn next, who said, and I quote, I didn't have a father. Someone I could model myself after, who could show me what it really means to be a man. And I went, oh boy, oh baby Finn. Finn, no, please do not model yourself after him. And then it's
okay, so the pause there.
But he doesn't know that Shu even got him into Glee because he conned him by using weed and being like, oh yeah, like I caught this in your, like found this in your locker or whatever. He's like, what can you do to make it up? And he's like, I'll join Glee. Like that's how the kid got into Glee.
Yes, very true.
A terrible human being. So yeah, that's his role model.
The pause there though is really, really, really great because he says, I didn't have a father.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, you still don't have a father.
I mean...
What?
You could say that, like, Bert's becoming more of a dad figure.
And that's because of Glee, because it got him closer to Kurt.
Yeah.
And got their parents together. But no, he's referring to Will.
Yeah.
And this is one of the awkward, long-running things in the show, is they're like, Will is like a father figure to Finn. And I'm like, Finn is already so much better than Will, even as, like, a 16-year-old idiot. Like, the worst things Finn's character will do are, like, something Will's character would just casually do.
Oh, Lord.
Like, after everything that Will Schuester has done in this show, the show has to remind us that, like, you know what, no, he's a good person. Give him a chance. And then they're like, you are Glee Club. And I'm like, okay.
And then they sing To Sir with Love to him. And he cries.
I hated that song.
I'm confused. I also hate it. I'm confused. What is that song from?
I have no idea.
What is it about? Is it about, like, it has like a weird, like, romantic love element to it that I just do not dig when the children are talking to their teacher and singing it.
No, it's, you know why it's so fucking weird? Because it's a woman talking about how she's thanking a man who took her from child to woman.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, what's happening in this song? And
Yeah,
what are these
very,
children
very
singing
strange.
to
That's
their
like,
teacher? Is this
it's
a
very-
cry for help?
it's like full-on pedophilia.
Are these
This,
kids okay?
she's thanking a man for taking her from a child to a woman.
I just want to say, when you both talk at the same time, we probably won't be able to hear either of you.
No, but you will
It's gonna be
understand our
great.
hearing.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you. I'm looking up the song now. Oh my god. Sorry, I was having some computer troubles. I'm looking up the song now. It's from the movie To Sir with Love, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it
Don't know
about a
what
it is.
creepy pedophile lead character?
Oh boy.
I don't know. About to Wikipedia it. Continue talking
Oh,
while I
boy.
research.
Do you have anything else to say about To Serve With Love other than you hated it? Because it's
hated
not like
it.
I liked it.
Well, I mean, I hated it because of that reason, but also it just didn't really make sense to me in that scene. Like, why? Like, the entire Glee Club talking about how they matured because of Will doesn't really make sense to me at all.
It would make sense if it was a different character.
Maybe. I don't know. I just don't like the song. There are a bunch of different songs that you could have chosen for that.
Like, I didn't like the song either. This isn't me challenging you, but what is a song you would choose?
I'm unsure. I have to think about that. The song that is popping up in my brain right now that is equally unsavory, because I'm just associating the two, is Father Figure.
I don't know that song.
Wait, you don't know that song?
Are
What?
you talking about the George Michael classic?
Yes, which is
Oh.
super creepy. Really weird. But this is like, I associate those two songs. They're on the same level. They're super creepy to me. So I would like a song that is not super creepy.
If I had to pick a song about Will Schuester, it would be Tainted Love. Now I run from you.
Okay. So here's what I've learned. On eslkevin.wordpress.com on March 29, 2013, he has a blog titled, "What is the meaning behind the song To Sir With Love by Lulu? Who is the artist?" So apparently it comes from a movie from the 60s in which this teacher who is a black man teaches his students, and apparently it is very instrumental in their growing up, which seems like, you know, like a great storyline.
Nice.
So the song, it's literally this person's answer is, she's singing about her respect for a black teacher who taught her and her classmates the real meaning of love. It is much deeper than that, I agree, so watch the movie. But then it's like, talks about how one of the subplots in the movie To Sir With Love is the sexual tension that exists between the teacher and one of his students. So the song also deals with the idea that the student can only give herself to him in a platonic sense. Lulu is singing on behalf of all the students who grew up under the teacher's supervision but could not express it any other way. That's about as convoluted as I thought it was going to be. So, yeah.
I don't know, guys. Not a fan.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Very much.
And that context did not make it better.
Yeah, the context just made it worse.
Yeah, there has to be a better
Yeah,
song.
it didn't.
It's a song about like learning from someone, but in a platonic way.
Doe, a deer, a female deer.
Ray, a drop of golden sun.
Me, a name I call myself.
Far, a longer way to run.
So, a needle pulling thread.
We're done.
Aw, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have copyright issues.
I was having so much fun.
That was great. Literally the next note I have is no, don't sing, Shu. I think this is in reference to the fact that he pulls out a fucking ukulele.
So before we get to the ukulele, where he sings Wonderwall, we find out that Sue voted for, because Sue comes into Gloat. She's talking with Will, and she's like, as much as I hate you, I respect you and what you do with those kids. And we learn that Sue voted for the New Directions.
Yes, we learn that, but Will does not. This is a directorial issue that I actually quite support. I liked this whole scene.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good scene. What Sue is like, she never admits that she's there to support Will and the kids, and she connected with them, but she does, and she campaigned to Figgins to keep Glee Club for another year, give them another chance at regionals. So, so the Glee Club exists again
He did
because
also
of Sue.
get aggressive with her again. He like grabbed her hand and then like forcibly put his other hand on top of hers. So lots of aggressive touching.
Yeah, because he's like
very on brand for him.
Very on brand. He's like, you're such a good person, and she's all like, let go of me before I puke in your mouth. And he's like, you have a heart for these kids, and she's just like, please stop. And then he announces to the Glee Club that they'll be going on for another year, and him and Puck sing. Well, Puck plays the guitar, he plays the ukulele, and they sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And that's how the show ends. The season 1 ends.
You know what really made me mad is that I actually kind of liked the cover. I thought the harmonies were really pretty, but I hated the fact that Shu had a ukulele, and I don't know why I hated that part so much.
Oh boy.
Because Will is every guy at a party who's like, oh, I can play the ukulele. You want to hear it, right? And everyone's like, no. And it's like, oh, it's happening. I guess we're hearing it.
My immediate reaction to him pulling out the ukulele was, oh my god, no.
Yeah.
And then when he started singing and I realized what song it was and that he wasn't going to approach any of the students in an inappropriate way, it's like,
staying seated.
This is okay. This is an okay song.
This is appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if more of Shu's songs were like this, we probably wouldn't hate him so much.
Exactly.
And it's nice, and you see all the kids, like, Rachel leans her head on Finn, Quinn and Mercedes hold hands, and Kurt, grabs their hand with them, and it's all like, haha, we're all friends.
Cute.
It's just this very cute number. It's a cute way to end this season.
Oh, you can't forget Mike Chang and that Matt guy, they fist bump.
They fist bump. Too bad this is not the last time we're seeing Matt at all.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be just another football player. So that is the episode of Journey to Regionals, one of Cullen Callaghan's favorite Glee episodes.
I love that Cullen is now referring to himself in third person. Hannah loves that idea.
Great times were had by all watching this. What was your favorite song?
My favorite song was Any Way You Want It, Love and Touch and Squeeze In. It is quite literally a banger.
Yeah, I'm gonna back that up. I'm gonna say the entire Journey medley. It was really good.
I would go with the entire Journey medley, specifically Love and Touch and Squeezin', because I love Don't Stop Believing, but they've done it before. But I definitely have Love and Touch and Squeezin' on my iPod as well, and I definitely played it on my musical theater radio show that I had in college.
Wow, that is quite the Cullen's Corner. I didn't know that you had a radio show. I'm just now learning this.
I did briefly for my last semester. I had a show about musicals with my friend Maddie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The last song we ever played, and I fought for this, was the Glee cover of Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson.
I hate you.
Because I was like, we're graduating. It's a graduation song about breaking.
I guess at least that song was used appropriately in Glee and not just frivolously like it was in Smash. So
Smash wasted that song.
But Kelly Clarkson got paid, so
so we're happy because we love Casey.
We love and support Kelly Clarkson. Her show. Watch her daytime TV show, guys. I haven't watched it, but it looks like a grand old time. She starts like every episode that I've seen at least singing. It's great.
What was your worst song? Was it To Serve With Love? Because that was definitely mine.
Yes.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say. It was terrible and I hated it.
It was so bad.
It was a low point in a very high episode, especially musically.
I think the other worst part about it is that it's on the Journey to Regionals album, and so like every time that I listen to that album, I have to skip over it.
Yeah, it just ruins a top-notch Glee album.
Oh, it's just cringy.
Yeah.
And I haven't even thought. Okay. Who's your LVP this week?
LVP?
Yeah.
I'm going Puck. I hated the fact that he did that to Quinn. He got her up on wine coolers and then manipulated her with the whole you're not fat thing. Got her pregnant. Was just a general jerk.
Made weird faces while she was giving birth.
I didn't care for that at all. I just, and also he decided the baby's name, and Quinn wasn't gonna keep the baby, but if anyone has a right to choose the name, it would still be her because fuck Puck. That rhymes.
Yep.
Good. I'm gonna go with Shelby.
Oh.
Because I really disagree with the way she handles her relationship with Rachel and then randomly decides to adopt another daughter. It just made no sense to me at all. I didn't like it. I didn't like the spontaneity. Spontaneity is more of a positive word. I want to go with a word that's less positive.
Her randomness?
Recklessness.
Reckless.
Yeah.
That's perfect. She's being really reckless in this episode. You don't just adopt a baby because you feel like you need a family. That's not how that works, okay? Yeah. Very, very, very irresponsible.
It feels like the writer's hand because they don't want Quinn to just give up the baby. They want to make sure that the baby has a family. And because you don't want to have her give away the baby, and it's oh well, that baby could be in the foster system now, we don't know what's happening to it. So it's it may have made more sense if we had spent more time with Shelby and Rachel and have Shelby talk about how she actually wants to give up doing Glee Club coaching and start a family and all this stuff. If that was built up and then this happens, maybe. But
yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I wouldn't feel so negative about it if that happened, but as it is right now, she's going to be my LVP because I think she's making a terrible decision.
All right, valid.
My LVP is going to be Puck the rapist.
Yeah.
Because not okay.
Hashtag not okay.
Not okay.
Hashtag not all men. Not Cullen Callaghan.
No,
who had
I
a
don't.
musical radio show in college.
Had a musical radio show in college, and I don't stand with Puck. No. Who is your MVP?
I'm going Quinny. She had a fucking baby. Like, she fucking gave birth. She was a badass because she was like dancing on stage. She's like, yeah, I'm 8 months pregnant. No big deal. And then like, yeah, I was like really happy for her and Mercedes like being like best pals. And then she was like bonding with Kurt in the Glee room, and she got like back with her mom. So like I think a lot of good things happened to her, even though she still didn't have a lot of agency. But yeah, a lot of good things happened to her, so I'm giving it to her.
Quinn's a good choice. I agree with that, but I'm gonna go with Sue Sylvester. I think that her ability to separate what she wants for Glee Club and what she feels is actually like what they deserve is going really big for her in this episode. She nominates them as first, even though nobody else knows about it, and she talks to Principal what
Figgy Fig.
Figgy Fig. Yeah. She talks to Principal Figgy Fig and uses her ultimate power of blackmail to keep Glee Club in the game. So I'm going with Sue Sylvester.
I'm going to do an honorable mention to Emma for being upset and defensive about the Glee Club, but being about the Glee Club and not about Will, despite what he insisted. She's like, I feel like we had our chance and we're moving on. I'm moving on, and I'm like, good for you, Emma. And then I'm giving it to Rachel, because I know this wasn't the biggest Rachel episode, but she led the performance. She knocked it out of the park. She got her man. She got her performance. She was the leader. And this is her season. This is her time, and she's shining. So way to be a star.
She still didn't get her mom
cool.
though.
She didn't get her mom, but she don't need Elsa of Arendelle.
That was a really depressing thing I said. She didn't get her mom though.
Downer.
Good job. Good job, Hannah.
I tried.
So let's talk about the Gleeboot a bit as we conclude.
We gotta do Tina time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tina time.
Tina time.
Okay, guys. Tina officially has 2 lines in this episode.
One of them was really long, though.
It was a long line. She speaks for at least, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 actual lines in a screenplay.
She cries.
A monologue. She has a monologue, guys.
She talks about only having 2 Facebook friends, her parents, until she joined Glee Club.
Yeah, it's emotional. But all in all, she really only has 2 lines in the entire episode, so there you go. Tina time.
Tina time. Would Tina get more time in the Gleeboot?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think she would too. I feel like this season finale was the ending to a season that was promised in the pilot and not quite given to us. And I feel like the Gleeboot, I'd like there to be more cohesion. Like the storylines that are resolved in the finale have been placed throughout the season. And I think part of that would be the freedom of whenever the Gleeboot happens, we're no longer held to like we need 22 episodes per season. So we could have maybe a shorter season that focuses on the storylines that are really important instead of having to fill it with other stuff, and so we forget the main storylines.
Yeah, I feel that. I also think that we're gonna need to cut a lot of the storylines that are not as important, like what
The stuff
you said.
about Will.
Yeah, the stuff about Will, but also some of the stuff, like, I know we just said that Tina's going to get more episodes or like more lines, but I don't like her in terms of Archie. Okay? Wait,
Archie?
Artie.
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 I was like, are we
Archie
having a
of Riverdale.
like a Riverdale crossover?
Well, I am sitting next to Archie from Halloween, so
I did go as Archie this Halloween.
yeah. Don't blame me too much, okay?
Blame it on the
But,
alcohol. Hey, right, Cullen?
Hey, name of a Glee episode in season 2.
There are some storylines that are just not as, they're just not as what's the word?
Important, meaningful,
They don't catch your attention. What is that word?
interesting.
Interesting? That works. They're just not as interesting. We need to cut those.
I think when it gets into, like, this season, I agree. Like, we're still getting to know the characters and trying to figure out, like, who we really want to root for, because sometimes people go off the rails. But, like, when the show, like, picks up in the next few seasons and we have so many people that actually do become somewhat important in their own right, I think that's where I think the show struggles in the future, is because people try to put stock, like fans will put stock in some more side characters that then become more major characters. So like this season, I think my theory is going to be that it's actually somewhat cohesive and easier to track, because I'm assuming things are just going to keep blowing up, because they do add more characters, and
Yeah.
and then those characters are gonna interact with the current characters that we have, so like it's gonna be a lot. So so it sucks that there was not a lot of cohesion here, and it might get worse.
Motto for the Gleeboot first season is going to be clean and clear.
Yes,
I think
we may have to change that because it might be trademarked because of the soap brand.
All right.
Clear and clean.
Good. There we go.
The way I would do it is by making Will combining Will and Sue, and we've talked about this earlier, as the antagonist, and having Rachel as the clear protagonist. It could clearly be Rachel's story, and then about her developing her relationship with her classmates. So you could have a way to more naturally work in spotlighting each member of the Glee Club, because it's about her. If the main storyline of season 1 is about her learning to value those relationships, then we could show her building those relationships and the Glee Club building those relationships with each other, and less about Will's self-realization, as in none about it.
Well, I mean, we don't need anything with Will in it.
Yeah, that's how I would Gleeboot.
Yeah. Gleeboot.
That's
Name of the
show.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we have a special plan. We're going to talk about the first season as a whole, how it affected us, how it changed us, how it made us better or worse human beings. But thank you so much. I can't believe we've made it to the end of the first season. It's been quite
Yay!
It's been quite a journey to regionals.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That's the second time.
I was going to legit say it's been a journey because, like, it has been a journey, and, like, Glee's been a journey. We've been on this journey with Glee. Don't Stop Believing's happened twice to us.
Well, I mean, unless you count the number of times that we've had to hear it also on the radio, because we heard it on the radio in the pilot, right? And then they sang it, and then we heard it on the radio here, and then they sang it again. So it's 4 times.
Yeah. So it's been a journey. So I want to thank you for joining us on Gleeboot. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you've had a lot of fun. And we're definitely continuing. This isn't an end. But I just wanted to thank you as we reach this kind of like big landmark as we've completed a whole season of Glee.
Should we start singing To Sir With Love to our listeners?
Please don't. We love them.
To
Don't do that to them.
serve with love. You're welcome.
Everyone is showing off their pipes this week.
We're all really great singers. Yeah. Yeah. So, social media? Question mark?
Social media, social meds.
Oh my god, we're on the social meds. We are on Instagram and Twitter. We are at Gleeboot Pod. And then we're also on Tumblr, Gleeboot Pod. So yeah, check us out. We're posting memes. We're making posts. We are socializing on media.
If you are like, I have not enough Glee memes in my life, then we're here for you. That's what we're all about.
I'm making
Memification.
originals.
They're pretty funny.
Originals. Oh, thank you.
They made me
Worked
laugh.
really hard. I'm so glad. See, that's all I want is to make my friends laugh and to make the listeners laugh. So yeah, follow us for memes, both original and reposted, because memes.
Follow me on social media. Meet my YouTube persona, your boy Ryan, at YABOI Ryan on YouTube, and your boy Ryan99 on Instagram and TikTok. And
then Allyssa is also on Instagram, a.m.swearingen on Instagram. Check out her art. She's super talented.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
I try. You know, we just gotta give you a shout out. Your great art.
Thanks.
Yeah. Follow us for memes, art, and amazing TikToks.
We'll see you at the mini-sode, and then it's on to season 2, baby.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.